I'm very excited to have you guys join us today with our super special guest, Senior Master Jennifer Glacken. So let's all give Jennifer a big warm welcome in the chat. And it's been a little while since I've been able to chat with you guys. So let me just get my chat open here and feel free to say hello to Jennifer. If you're not familiar with Jennifer, we are going to share with you a little bit about her story, which is, she's one of the my favorites, honestly, from a business perspective. I grew up in this business, and my family was always kind of a business opportunity first approach. And Jennifer is I can't say exactly that way, but definitely that's her strong focus. She's very good at it, and for good reason, and she'll share that with you. So thanks again for being here. Nice to see you, Chris and Janice, Zenobia. Welcome. So let's go ahead. I will fire up my slides. Everyone's in the room and we are ready to go. So this is really a special honor for me because Jennifer's crazy busy. Maybe you could just share quickly, Jennifer, how many grand openings have you had to do in the last week or two?
Well, in the last week, I think it was 28 or 29.
Yeah, so, which is awesome. So let's get going here. Do I have my proper screen shared, Kristen? Are we good to go? I believe we are.
You're good to go.
So awesome. Okay, so again, we are here to discuss the power of edification with Senior Master Jennifer Glacken. And if you're not sure from a rank perspective, what that means is Master Coordinator has a certain amount of business leaders, and then you have to increase the volume to become a Senior Master, which is not an easy feat. So this is something pretty special. And she is going to share the power of edification to supercharge sponsoring and how she was able to, because in the beginning, she actually struggled with that, and she'll share a bit of her story, why, and how she was able to utilize the skill and leverage it for growth. The word edification is connected to the Latin root for building. And in network marketing, it's used in the sense of building up respect and esteem for someone. And one of the best ways to practice edification is when prospecting for new customers and business builders is actually with the grand opening, also known as the GO, as taught by Jennifer. And you may have, some of you or many of you, maybe you could type in the chat, how many of you were here with us in Networkers University last year when Jennifer came in and taught us her grand opening strategies and how to utilize that? Go ahead and share that if you could. In fact, Jennifer's team has had some fantastic results with grand openings. Take, for instance, Kevin and Jan, who invited 11 people, 9 attended, and from those 9, everyone placed orders, which is fabulous, and also found a new distributor as well. Or Nicole, who invited 21 and found a new distributor. We had Jennifer teach, again, the ultimate guide to grand openings last year, and one of the most important keys to success is the ability to edify the upline presenter when they're introduced. And it was during that course that I realized, we need to bring Jennifer back and just take this one segment out and make sure that she has a little more time to teach that. And as Jennifer says, to edify is to uplift. This helps the prospects see why they should listen to the business partner who is sharing the grand opening. And this important skill is by no means limited to just grand openings. The truth is, anytime you're prospecting, you need to learn how to edify. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to do a good enough job today to edify Jennifer so that you guys will listen. In this webinar, Jennifer will teach you how to leverage this powerful skill, again, to supercharge your sponsoring. And Jennifer's the CEO and president of Glacken Health and Wellness. And I really admire her for using that because she follows our strategy, which is the You Inc. Strategy, which means branding yourself. It's you first. Shackley is second, and it's not in a bad way. It's just that people connect with you. So I think we should all take a note from that. She's originally from the East Coast, where she graduated from the University of Virginia with a degree of Foreign Affairs and Spanish. And I didn't know that. Does that mean that you can speak Spanish quite well? I'm assuming yes, Jennifer, which must do you amazing for your business because you can tap into a whole market that many can't. And when a job loss occurred in 1999, Jennifer decided to build her network marketing business to fill in the gap. She'd actually been a customer for 6 years and then realized, hey, I'm going to give this a go. She'll share that in her story. And then she fell in love with the business and never looked back. So here's what you're going to learn in this webinar. what edification is, why it's so powerful, how to edify someone, plus much more. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jennifer, and maybe you could just share a quick bit of your story like we shared earlier and then take it away.
I will. I'm just going to pull up the slides so that we make sure we have the slides in the right spot, and I will share a little bit here.
Yeah.
So some of you know me, some of you don't, but I got started in Shackley because of the products, fell in love with the products, and was a customer for 6.5 years. And so when I decided to build a business, it was because there was a layoff in our family and we needed income. We needed income right away. I didn't have time to go learn about network marketing. I didn't have time to go figure it all out. I had to jump in and figure it out as I went along. And it wasn't until I really had a team of people who wanted to utilize my skill to help them close deals, whether it was closing products with customers or whether it was closing business partners. My team kept saying, "Can you come on a call?" And I would go on the calls, and there was this awkwardness. There was this, I don't know what to do and how to introduce Jennifer or how to introduce my prospect, that I realized that this was something that we needed to teach and train, and that I needed to do it in an effective, efficient way to really help people so that I could help them. The purpose of having me on these calls or in these meetings was to help them. It wasn't to have it be awkward or, confusing. And so it's really important that you learn how to edify, that you learn how to edify properly, and that you understand the whys behind it. And so we're going to cover all of that. So when you look at what the word edify means, if you go to the dictionary, it's a little confusing because you might, you read this and it says to instruct or benefit, especially morally or spiritually. The uplift part is the part I want you to it's about uplifting and encouraging and really developing credibility for someone that somebody doesn't know yet. So edification is the act of edifying. It's the state of being edified or uplifted, and moral improvement or guidance. So when I went to the dictionary and I looked up edification, because I had, after I'd been in the business for a short period of time, my team was needing my help and I was trying to figure out what is edification. I'm looking it up in the dictionary and I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense to me. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And so I started to take some network classes, and I was listening to audio cassettes. That dates me, of course, but I was listening to audio cassettes on network marketing, and I learned a ton about edification. In network marketing, edification is used to provide credibility for a person, an event, or company. So when you think about what we're trying to do, when we're trying to get a prospect in front of information, showing the plan, doing a grand opening, just getting people in front of the information, we have to learn a little bit about them, ask a lot of questions, and figure out their why. But then there has to be a reason that they're going to either come to a meeting or talk to a person. And we want to edify the person that they're going to talk to. Now, if it's just you having a conversation with your prospect, it's hard to edify yourself. And we'll talk about that here in a moment as well. But edification is typically the best way for you to get your prospect in front of an expert and to have that person, your prospect, listening to this expert because of the words that you've used, because of how you have, quote unquote, edified them. So edification really involves a couple of things. It's about speaking well of somebody. You're not going to have somebody come on a call and say, "Oh my gosh, this person is horrible at Shackley." That, of course, wouldn't help you at all. So you're going to speak well of the person. You're going to build up the other person to give them credibility. So your prospect hopefully trusts you. And now you have to transfer that trust and respect from what you know about this expert over to your prospect so that they want to listen. And of course, you're going to introduce someone in a way that gives them stature. It's also going to give them confidence. When they come on the call, when this expert comes on the call, they're stepping into a role that's been sort of created for them, that they are the expert, that the person who's there, the prospect, is going to listen to what they have to say. If the person that is the distributor, so I'm going to say you at the moment because we always talk about you and the expert and the prospect, the you in this case is a distributor. If they don't the edification properly, they can create a lot of problems for the expert, which ultimately hurts them in trying to close their prospect. So why is edification so powerful? Well, if you want to duplicate, you have to learn this crucial skill. As I was sharing before, when my team really wanted to grow quickly, they knew that they didn't know some of the things that I knew. I'd just been in Shackley longer. I'd been using Shackley products for 6.5 years before I became a distributor, so I knew the products very well. I was building a business longer than anyone on my team because obviously I sponsored before them and was building before them. And so they needed help. They wanted me to explain about the business or to explain about lifestyle or about the products, and they needed my help. So it was important for me to be there, be available, and to help them so that we could duplicate faster. Now, can you do this all on your own without edification, with a partner in? Of course you can. But if you want to faster and stronger, you will want to use this tool of edification. So when you ask someone in your upline or sideline leadership to help you recruit prospects, it's your responsibility to create the perception that they are credible. Well, it's not false. So when I say it's your role that you have to create the fact that they're credible, they are credible, but your prospect doesn't know that. Your prospect doesn't know about the company. Your prospect doesn't know any of the rank titles, doesn't know how long it takes to do certain things in this business. So your prospect is coming in somewhat blind. And so we have to build up our expert so that the prospect wants to listen. So why do we edify people? Well, you want to keep the light off yourself as a distributor. You want to pass the spotlight over to the expert. The prospects will listen to the person who was edified. It's almost impossible to edify yourself without sounding cocky and arrogant. So you really can't say, well, hey, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, listen to me. It's a lot easier to edify the heck out of your expert and just, put the accolades there and talk about how awesome they are. And you will really see. A lot of people have said to me, well, gosh, doesn't that diminish my leadership when I bring an expert in? It actually does the opposite. It shows a team feel, it shows a community, and your ability to edify somebody and to build them up is actually a really powerful thing. It shows your confidence and your self-confidence, especially in being able to do that. It also builds credibility. So when you edify your expert, it's going to build credibility. People will want to listen to the expert. Obviously, that's the point of doing this. It increases your expert's ability to be an influencer. Your expert can't influence the prospect if they aren't looked at as a leader, as an expert, as someone with knowledge, as somebody who's going to be able to share something that this prospect wants to learn about. And then the last thing that is often a missed point is that your expert has increased confidence when they are edified and introduced this way. It actually allows them to step into that role. There's a lot of times that I see maybe a distributor or a leader on my team who is being edified by their downline. And they start off a little uncomfortable with the edification, but by the end, they're sitting up taller, they have a different level of confidence. And so they come to the table with that prospect in a stronger position. They feel more confident. They're able to share in a different way, which once again, helps everyone. As a distributor, we want our prospects to join the team or to buy product. When we have an expert help us do that, like I said, it helps all of us. I can't say that enough. And that's really the important part here to remember, is that the whole point of doing this is to help your business grow. So let's talk about how to edify, because this is really the important piece here. So how do you edify somebody? When you look at this little diagram on the slide here, you see you at the top, that's the distributor. You have trust with your prospect. You are trying to transfer that trust and respect over to the expert. In order to do that, you have to edify the expert. Sounds kind of simple, maybe not always that simple. So let's talk a little bit about how we do that. Well, we want a list of attributes of the expert. So what does the expert bring to the table? Why are we having them come on the call or in the meeting, or maybe you're edifying them at the beginning of the grand opening, why people would listen to this expert? Well, the list of attributes, it can't just be they're great, they're my friend, they're awesome. It needs to be concrete reasons why people would want to listen to them. They've built a large business. They're my business partner. They have helped lots of people in your situation do what you're trying to do. So if you've got a prospect, and maybe your prospect loves trips. On my team, the Underwoods, Tony and Debbie Underwood, who are master coordinators, they love to travel. It is so easy to edify the fact that they earn all of the Shackley trips and they travel all over the world. And so if I was introducing the prospect to the Underwoods, and the prospect wanted to earn trips and travel was their hot button, it would be so easy to talk about the Underwoods. They travel all over the world. They are international travel experts. They earn Shackley trips every year. And so you're going to learn so much about how you can do that with Shackley by listening to the Underwoods. So you can see I picked out attributes that match the prospect. So that's important to do. You want the skill set that makes this person an expert. It's not just about they're great, they're awesome. You've heard me use that a couple of times now. Those superlatives don't help you edify your expert. So you really need some skill sets. Maybe they are super organized. Maybe they've built a large team. Maybe they've got a process works. Maybe they know how to talk about the business in a way that no one else seems to talk about it. I don't know. You've got to think about your expert and come up with the skill sets and the attributes that really make them stand out, so that when you're talking to a prospect, you can sort of think through what it is you're going to say about your expert. You might want to talk about how long they've been in the business and their specialty. What is it that they bring to the table? So overkill, I've used some of these words already, but when we use a superlative, when we say they're the best or the most, or they're amazing or fabulous or great, or they've helped millions, it just doesn't sound real. It doesn't sound authentic. It sounds cheesy. It sounds like the person really isn't what you're trying to make them out to be. And when we're doing good edification, we want it to be authentic and real. And it's important that your expert believes the things you say about them. If I say that somebody is super organized and they feel like they're the most unorganized person and they're disheveled all the time and they just don't feel organized, they won't be able to step into the confidence that can come from the edification. And so I mentioned that before, that's a really important piece, is that your expert has confidence when they've been introduced this way. And so you want to make sure that you do give attributes and skill sets that the expert believes that they have. So really important that you think that through and don't use those superlatives. You never want to make your presenter dig themselves out of a hole. I can't tell you the number of times that I have been on a call and a distributor just, in a sense, throws me in a hole. So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes a distributor might get nervous and you get on the call and there's complete silence. There's been many times I've had to say to the distributor, Bob, why don't you introduce us? Or Bob, why don't you get us started off here today? And sometimes Bob will just say, oh, sure. I'm just going to turn it over to you, Jennifer. And Bob has said nothing that edifies me. So then I've got to ask the prospect questions, what's their name? How much time do they have for this meeting? What was it that they hoped to get from the meeting? So over the years, I've learned how to ask some of those questions, but you'll feel like you're digging yourself out of a hole. If Bob does the edification properly, Bob sort of ties it up in a neat little bow. But let's keep talking about some of the things that don't happen sometimes. A lot of times I'm on a call and somebody might even start a little bit of edification. They might say, Jennifer Glacken is here. She's going to do our grand opening this evening. So here you go, Jennifer. Okay, once again, no edification. My name was introduced, but no edification, no introduction. I also think that it's really important that we think through how the good friend part. And it doesn't mean that you can't say that the expert is a friend of yours. But a lot of times that's the introduction that I get, is that distributor, Jennifer's one of my good friends, love spending time with her. She's lots of fun, like to go on trips with her. Well, that hasn't edified why the person needs to listen to me. What is it about me being your friend that would make the prospect say, oh gosh, I have to listen to everything Jennifer says because she's your friend? That doesn't even make sense. Is we want the prospect to be on the edge of their seat, that they're going, oh my goodness, I can't wait to hear Jennifer talk because she's going to teach me something that I need to learn about Shackley, about the company, about the team, about something. And the only way that happens is if the edification is done properly. So remember, it's about the attributes, it's about the skill sets, be authentic, be real. Be really, think through the person that you're having on. I do a Saturday team call every Saturday and we invite different speakers on. And I spend time thinking through my introduction. It was the person on the master an advisory board, and what would that mean to a brand new prospect that's listening in? How big is their business? How long have they been in Shackley? Are they second generation? And if they are, I talk about the legacy aspect of the business and the but you have to think it through. You can't just hop on a call and say, well, I hope it's going to work. So let me just explain briefly here how an edification goes, and then we'll move on to a couple more slides. So you as the distributor start off the call and you will clear the time. You know, Bob, I understand that you have 15 minutes to have a conversation here. Is that still true? Bob says yes. Great. I can't wait to introduce you to my business partner, Jennifer. Jennifer's been in the business for 27 years. She's built to the level that we call Senior Master Coordinator, which is a very significant level. She's been earning a six-figure income for over 17 years now at that level. When she got divorced, her Shackley business went from a plan B to a plan A for her family. And so I can't wait for her to share with you about how to create that type of business. Now, Jennifer, I want to introduce you to Bob. Bob is one of my friends, or Bob is, a business associate from work, and Bob is very interested in understanding about the business opportunity. And I thought you could share a little bit more about that. So this would be a three-way call, obviously, or a three-way Zoom type of a situation. So if you notice, there was introduction. So it wasn't too little or none. There were attributes shared, and there were skill sets that were shared. So let's go through a couple more examples here about how this works. You can ask the expert, so the upline or the sideline, how best to edify them. And so when I was even coming on this presentation tonight, I was asked, what are some of the things that we could use to edify you? And so the expert will give you the things. The expert knows themselves best. And so they'll tell you, well, I've earned trips in Shackley. I've been on the Wall of Honor. I've earned a six-figure income. Whatever the things are that they feel are their sort of claim to fame, their successes, why they've been successful in the business. And so you can jot that down. You can even write out a sheet of edification that's similar to a bio, so that you might have sort of like a bio and say, I'm going to introduce Jennifer now, and I've got a little sheet here so that I don't miss any of the points that I want to cover about her and her background. You have to practice it. You want it to be authentic. Yes, you can read it off of the sheet, but read it a couple of times. You don't want to be tripping over edification words. What it does is it actually doesn't help edify the person. It gets confusing, and the prospect ends up focusing on the words that you tripped over and some of those things that stop them from hearing the message. So you want to practice it. Add something personal if you can. Maybe you've worked with me. Maybe we've been building your business together for years. And so I tell the team, I'll say, something, talk a little bit about maybe the trips that we've been on, or the fact that I come into your market and we work together in your market, or I've done X number of grand openings in your organization with you. Something that can show that personal connection, because that's what it actually does is it helps to show the truth of the edification for the prospect. Remember I said before, don't use superlatives like the best or the most or great or some of those things. We're trying to make sure that the edification is authentic, that it's real, that the prospect buys into it, that they feel, oh my gosh, I want to hear this person speaking because they've got a lot of knowledge to share with me. The only way that happens is if you create an environment for that to happen. And part of that can be with something personal that you know about that person, that you enjoy working with them, that you've loved working with them in the past. And use edification often. You can use edification with three-way calls. You can do it with one-to-ones. You can do it with large meetings. Anything that you're inviting someone to, you can edify the event or the speakers so that the person is excited to be there. Now, on the call, it's the upline's responsibility to edify you. And this goes back to a comment I made earlier, that sometimes distributors say, oh my goodness, I'm giving away my leadership when I use a third party to either do a three-way call or to do the grand opening or something like that. And my comment is that if the upline or the sideline partner, whoever you're partnering with, if they do a good edification of you, you'll see how powerful the whole process is, and it actually lifts you up as a leader. So for example, if we are on a call, and let's just say that we've already done that introduction, and so we're in the middle of the conversation, at different points, I would edify the distributor. I'd say something like, Mary's been in the business for a long time, and Mary really could do this appointment with or without me. But it's so awesome that I got a chance to meet you, because we do work as a team, and it's fantastic to just be meeting at this stage in the process. But Mary has all the skill to be able to run this meeting. So that's one little small piece of edification. Throughout the conversation, my goal is to edify Mary as often as I can. Usually at the end, I'll say something like, something, Bob, you could not have picked a better distributor to partner with. Mary is amazing. She's going to be a top leader on the team. She's already shown that through the success she's had. You could not have picked a better business partner if you decide to partner with us. So just making sure that you're edifying on a consistent basis. So that's the upline or sideline, because I know not everybody here has an upline partner that you're working with. So if you partner up with a sideline partner, that's just the sideline partner's responsibility is to edify you, the distributor, through the process. Now, there's some typical mistakes. Too many distributors just talk about themselves. And that usually comes from, I hate to say it, but ego in a sense. Like a distributor's like, oh my goodness, I'm giving up my leadership to this expert, so I'm going to talk about how great I am to make sure my prospect knows how great I am. Well, it's going to come across much better if the expert edifies you. So if you've done a great job of lifting up this expert and telling all the great things about this expert and why the prospect should listen to the expert, when the expert edifies you, the prospect goes, holy cow. The expert thinks that Mary is awesome. I'm on a great team. I can't pick a better partner. I'm going to stick with Mary. She's awesome. And so what it does, it really works very well. It's a well. Another challenge, because if you do a great job edifying the expert, but you don't introduce the prospect to the expert, what you'll find is that the expert then has to ask too many introductory questions, and it really doesn't go as fast and as far as it can, because sometimes exactly what the prospect is interested in or what aspect of the business they're most interested in. And so if you tell the expert that in the introduction, that just moves the conversation along faster. And then at the end of the time that you're together, whether it's a three-way call or a grand opening or any type of an event, if you don't leave time at the end for the prospect to ask the presenter questions, that is another typical mistake. So if Bob in this situation only has 15 minutes, you need a couple of minutes at the end for Bob to be able to ask the expert some questions. Really important. Now, event edification. If you are inviting somebody to an event, you want to highlight the learning opportunities. What are they going to learn at this event? Who are some of the speakers? I remember inviting people to Presidential Master Coordinator Gary Burke's January Leadership Summit out in Chicago. It was the middle of winter when those meetings were happening. There was usually snow on the ground, and people didn't want to drive out on a Friday evening or a Saturday morning to go to these events. But I edified the heck out of Gary Burke. What an amazing leader he was, how you would learn something no matter where you were in the process, whether you were brand new, just exploring Shackley, or whether you had made a decision to build a business. If you had made a decision to build a business, you absolutely wanted to be there. So you edify the speakers so that people want to go to the event. Think about our Shackley Global Conference coming up. If everyone on your team went to the global conference, how much stronger would your organization be? It would be much stronger because there's lots of statistics around that. And so make sure that you edify the event, what they're going to learn, how they don't want to miss it. And you want to promote the statistics from attending the event. Shackley usually gives some statistics that, X% of the people that go to the conference become a director in the year or change ranks in the next year. Use those statistics to motivate and inspire the people you're trying to invite, and let them know, hey, if you come to this event, look at the statistics. You're going to be a part of that, and let's get your business off the ground. And of course, you want to share the importance of being a part of a winning team, winning company, winning community, however you want to share that. You're in this amazing community of people here at your future, my freedom project. So it's like, or your freedom project, sorry, I'm saying the wrong thing. But it's so important that you are explaining that, the importance of being a part of the team, the importance of being part of the community, why that's going to help somebody, why that support and that encouragement that comes from the community, the training that's here, that's available for the community, that's not available in other places. And so by edifying that, people will want to be a part of it. And so it's just important to remember edification comes in so many different forms and in so many different ways. And we just need to think it through ahead of time. When you use edification properly, it will grow your business. And so the upline's responsibility, or the sideline in this case, if there's some sideline partners that you're partnering with, it's a critical component to building a strong, deep organization. So you want to teach this. You want to use the same edification if you can, or a similar group of words around people, because you want your team to model that. You want your team to learn what the edification is. Now, you can cover a lot of different things with just a couple of statements. And so I showed an example earlier of being very specific, like with the Underwoods and the prospect wanting to travel. And so yes, you can do that. You can be very specific and just pull out attributes or skill sets that relate specifically to something that the prospect wants. Or you can have a more generic introduction that covers and highlights a lot of their skill sets and attributes, but would cover a lot of different situations. If you think that's easier to teach your team, then you do that. And then as you all get more skilled, then you might be able to infuse different things in based on the prospect. You want to practice edification. You have to skill up and practice it. It's not something that's just going to come by the fly of your pants. You got to make sure that you are really taking the time to write out the edification, practice it, and think it through. If you were a brand new prospect, would those words make you want to listen to the expert? If not, then you scrap it and you start over. And if you're writing things like, they're the most fun, they're awesome, they're a great leader, okay, that doesn't tell the prospect anything that makes them want to listen to the expert. So you want to make sure that you truly take the time to create that. And I'm just going to say edify. I mean, that's really the whole key here, is to edify, edify, edify. So the upline's going to edify you, you edify the upline, and we hope that the prospect joins the team. And if not, they're going to have really good thoughts about both of you because you've both been well edified. So I'm going to turn things over to you, Jody. I hope that covered everything that you wanted me to cover. And if not, I'm sure.
That was fantastic. I'm trying to now go, oh my gosh, I got to make sure I'm better at my edification, because I mean, what you just gave us was a little mini masterclass. And I'm thinking my introduction of you in the very beginning was a bit weak in comparison to what you just said. And I did want to just share with some folks, hopefully you guys were using a program like what I was just using to take notes called OneNote. We teach that in Networkers University. When you have a class like this, it's very important that you have something so you're actually taking notes, or you'll find your mind tends to wander of other thoughts and you'll lose some pieces. This is definitely something, hopefully you guys will come back in. We will archive this and take some notes on that. And one of the notes that I had, I just wanted to ask if you could share again, just to reiterate, is, and this happened to you, what to do if you don't have an upline, because that was one of the reasons you weren't edifying. You didn't have share from there. I won't go into any more than that.
Yeah, if you don't have an upline, then I would really encourage you to use a sideline partner. There are loads of amazing people in this community. I mean, I look at the list of names here. You've got lots and lots of awesome people that you could partner with. You could say, hey, I'll be your upline, so to speak, or your sideline partner in your edification and your three-way calls. And if you'll be mine, just trade off and do that back and forth for folks. Because edification really does move your business forward faster. And I didn't have that type of upline support when I was first getting started. And so it made it difficult. I was trying to teach this to my team because I wasn't modeling it. And so it's so important, if you start people off right away, if they see it being modeled, they're going to step right into it and they'll get used to the verbiage that they've heard over and over and over again about how you're edifying the upline.
Right on. And for some of you may not really know Jennifer that well, but there's a neat little video that actually the company produced that you were in that I really like, the one where it shows you doing yoga and you're like cruising around your town. And it, in the video, Jennifer shares how she was actually quite shy. Maybe could you just tell them a little bit, you're the speaker that you are now and how effective you are now isn't how you've always been, is it?
No, actually, if I do any personality test, I'm always on the borderline of introvert, extrovert. Introverts get their energy from being alone, and extroverts get their energy from people. And I would much rather read a book or do a puzzle by myself. In this business, you have to learn how to pull yourself out of your shell, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so this business, the personal development side, has really taught me that. And I said skill up earlier, but that's what we do on a daily basis. I teach my team all the time that we have to continue to skill up. We have to keep working on ourselves, getting better and better. And so I do a lot of things that might look like I'm an extrovert, but then I go do a puzzle and read a book and recharge.
And I think sort of my big takeaways from this is one, right off the bat, is utilizing the skill, really getting good at the skill will allow, let's just sort of hit some points. People will actually pay attention to the speaker. People will go to an event that you want them to go to. They will watch a video you want them to watch, right? They'll take a tour. In our case, you want them to take a tour. If you want them to learn about the opportunity, you need to be able to share something where it makes it worth their while, because we're all very busy. So what are those reasons? And I loved your sample, the way you laid that out. So hopefully you guys will go back in and watch the way that Jennifer did that again. Also, a big takeaway was doing your research so that you've got a few key points, I think is very critical. Or you think you're going to do a great job edifying, and then you're just kind of bleh. It's like you don't really have anything to say. And then it becomes fluffy. You're not really saying concrete examples of that, of sort of what they've accomplished and how that relates to what the prospect actually wants. So very good. I'm really glad that you shared that point as well. And also, Jennifer, could you just, am I right in saying that you could also edify what they just said by echoing some of the things they just said at the end? Does that also make sense? So that they will.
Yeah, I think that any type of reiteration is always good. Our prospects need to hear things 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before they're going to really internalize it. And so it certainly doesn't hurt to do some echoing. And just remember that if you are the distributor and you're working with a sideline partner or an upline partner, you're working as a partnership. The goal is to help move this prospect along, even if it's just a little, couple small steps along the process. You're working as a partnership. So the more you do things with people, the better you'll get. I've got some people on my team that we are a well-oiled machine. We just know we can look at each other and we know what the next thing is to say, because we do so many appointments together. You don't get there without doing those, though. We had lots of appointments where we were tripping up over our words. But yes, you can echo things at the end. It really does help to edify.
And I think it's important for people to realize, would you say that, we're talking percentage points of a very significant number in conversion by you improving the skill set. Would you agree with that? It's not like this is just going to take a little bit of a improvement on your business. This can make dramatic improvements.
It really does. I can give one concrete example. I've got a woman on my team who went from senior coordinator to senior executive coordinator by really working in partnership with her up team partners. And it was all about the edification, the three-way calls, the grand openings, everything that was happening. But it was really turning over a little bit of that, not control necessarily, but being willing to work with the up team partnership to really have that explosive growth, because it really does make a difference. Think about changing 2 ranks. That's significant.
It's a large amount of volume. You've got extra builders that you've had to solidify. There's a lot to that.
Right.
That's impressive. And so that means that you guys, when you improve on this skill set, when you take some time and practice, as Jennifer said, when you actually write it out so you know what you're going to say and don't just try to wing it, then you're going to get good at edifying someone to take a tour, a video, to watch something, to attend something. And you're going to get a lot more people that'll actually do it. And when you can get more people to take action, you're going to win and move forward. It's just, it's just bottom line works that way. So if I could, I just want to share with you guys a little bit about YFP and how we've got some tools to help you with this. So I'm just going to share my screen here. So if you loved this training, then you're going to love Jennifer's course in Networkers University. And the course, again, is the ultimate guide to grand openings. Now, you can either register with Networkers University alone without having any of our other services and just take that course. So you can reach out to us to get more information about that, as that is archived. So it's on-demand training, or it can be part of what I'm about to show you here. So the best way really to put these skills that Jennifer shared with you tonight into action is with the right tools and training. And success in network marketing requires these 6 elements. One is a plan or blueprint, an effective strategy, a simple process in order to move people forward to either becoming a customer or a business builder, tools and resources, and then training so you know how to use the strategy, the process, the resources, and so on. And then, of course, support. And YFP offers all 6 elements. So if you're not familiar with YFP, I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an introduction. And if you could, type into the chat. I'd love to find out how many of you are brand new here. You've never been on a Freedom Project training or webinar. This is the first time you've ever kind of bumped into us. Just type it in your name if you're brand new. Nice to see you, Jennifer. Give you a shout out. Isabel, welcome, welcome. Good to see you too. And Phyllis and Ken, welcome. I love having you guys here. So Freedom Project is actually something that my family co-founded. I'm a Shackley kid. My parents started in 1981. I was 8 when my parents started the business. So I grew up in the business, and we got to the point where we needed the internet to grow, and I ended up creating a tool that has evolved into what is now called Your Freedom Project. And that was back in 1981 when we started the business. And it's a 360-degree ecosystem of tools and training that can help you find new builders, find new customers, and increase sales and retention, which is really the nutshell of the business. And success in network marketing also requires this important thing, and that is flow. If any of you have ever studied the late Jim Burke, who was I believe he got to presidential master coordinator, and he did a tape series, and it was called Moving People Forward. And I've always subscribed to that mentality. So your activity, your tools, and your system should always be moving people forward. And that's what I really loved about Jennifer Glacken's grand opening presentation and her strategy, is it's always about moving people forward. They're either going to be moving them to the next appointment, the next event, the next promotion. And of course, edification is a key part of making that happen. So our suite of tools are really designed to make that happen. They're designed for network marketing. And we have things that we offer to help you guys. Basically, growing up in the business, what I looked at is, what are all the things that my family is struggling with that we need for this business? And I didn't want it to be all over the place in different applications, and you had to try to hack it all together. And I also didn't want any of my team to ever have to build any of it themselves. I wanted it to be out of the box, ready to go, so you can just focus on building your business, and duplication is built into that. So we do have 2 offers that I want to share with you guys. And that is, one is our Freedom Builder program, as well as Zoom. So I'll just mention Zoom quite quickly. You're all familiar with Zoom, but we actually have a special arrangement with Zoom, where here at YFP, we offer the best plan that Zoom offers. Actually, it's called the Enterprise Plan. And you can get it for as low as $29.99 if you're on the Freedom Builder, or it's $39.99 if you just buy it a la carte. And you could actually save $200. Normally, we have a $297 onboarding fee because we do a bunch of things to set you up and get your license provisioned and everything. But here's the number one reason where we recommend you consider Zoom, and that is, or through us, is that is unlimited cloud recording. You never need to worry about running out of space, which would normally cost you a lot of money if you try to do it as a separate add-on. And there's a bunch of other features you get. If you are interested in that, just go ahead and message and say, I'm interested in Zoom, and our team will reach out to you. You can just type that in the chat, and our team will be taking note. And so let's get into my Freedom Builder. So the core of YFP's suite of tools is, again, my Freedom Builder. And it's an educational marketing platform that'll help you, again, find customers and builders, keep the ones that you have, and simplify your business. One of the powerful things about Freedom Builder is it helps you increase reorder rates. It helps you follow up, get organized, simplifies your business, and makes everything a duplicatable process. And our process makes it simple to grow and duplicate using our 2 main, what's called funnels, marketing funnels, which is just kind of like a hallway of information that allows people to look at what you're offering without them feeling any pressure. And actually, the grand opening is really the vanguard, the leading tool in front of that. That's one of the reasons why I asked Jennifer if she'd work with us, is I felt that the grand opening was a wonderful tool to first introduce people to both the opportunity and the products. And then when they say, hey, I'm interested in either A or B, then we follow up with YFP's funnels to say, well, let's let you know more about the business or more about the product, if they weren't ready to make a decision that night after just simply going to the grand opening. So our sponsoring process is really the most duplicatable system available for someone who's trying to learn about the opportunity with any depth. And that is because it's a 3-step process where we use actually videos, so you don't have to present. You can do it yourself. And the neat thing about it is you can just simply send a link to your site from your phone or PC. And I'm going to ask Kristen to just jump in for a minute And Kristen, if you could share your screen, Kristen's going to share her phone screen, and I'm going to have her show you guys just how simple it is for her to share her link to me. And there we go. So Kristen is on an iPhone. So she's going to just share with us. So Kristen actually has her website bookmarked. And she's going to go to her, what we call the Explore Opportunity gateway page, which is this, meaning it's the gateway to her tour. Okay. And so Kristen, let's say that Kristen just knows me from work or knows me from, whatever the situation might be. And she's thinking about me. All she needs to do is grab the link. It's a little different on Android, which we would show you maybe some other time. Kristen's going to do actually a YFP 101 about that. She's going to go to her social space. Okay, Messenger. And then she'd look me up. I'm her prospect. And then she's going to paste in a link. Now, of course, we're just having some fun tonight, so we're not going to type in exactly what we'd recommend you say. That could be different depending on each prospect, but she's just going to show you an example of how darn simple this is. So, okay, so she would go ahead and then paste that in and then send that off. And then just click that if you would, Kristen, so you could see what the prospect would see. So there we go. We would land on that. So I'm the prospect. I would see that and go, explore the opportunity to create an income by guiding and teaching online. Interesting. Click the link to watch the video. And you see now they can go through this video tour and just start watching videos and learn about it. The first one begins with the 7 major challenges. And we start off with the problem. People don't like to take an aspirin if they don't know they have a headache. And we want them to realize that it's getting harder and harder to get ahead. So we introduce with that, and then we move into the new possibility for getting ahead. We move into benefits, and you'll notice we have very short little videos. They're like a minute long. The longest is the market, which is 3 minutes and 46 seconds. And then we talk about the benefits and we go on. And so at the very bottom, if the prospect likes what they see, all they got to do is click on that continue tour. So this is not an app, by the way. All this is she's just sharing her web browser. Okay, Maureen. So it's not an app at this point. So anybody, they don't have to download anything in order to access this. They just click a button, they're going to land on the web page, and it's going to work. If they like to see this, they'll just see what's in it for them in the sense of what they have to do next. They'll fill in their information. And when they fill in their information, what that's going to do is it's going to put their information inside your email marketing system. And our team will now be writing a weekly wellness update and a monthly e-newsletter. Maybe just go ahead and log into the classroom, Kristen, at the bottom there. So normally they would fill in the information. In her case, she's already in the bit there. So she's just going to go ahead and log into her classroom. And we'll just stop sharing for a minute while you're putting in your email.
Don't worry, no one can get me on that email.
Yeah. Yeah. What we wanted to create was something that was so crazy duplicatable that all you needed to be able to do was nurture someone's investigation. So you could be on your mountain bike, as long as you've got internet access, send someone a link. They could be going through that. Now, we don't just say send links and step away from it, but send them a link and then just say, take a look at the videos and then get back to me when you're done. Let me know what you think. Then they'll message you and say, okay, I'm done. They'll either say what now, or they'll say, I'm interested. Your job via Messenger is just to keep finding out. So what did you think? Now, you could also do the same thing with text messaging. It doesn't have to be through Instant Messenger in case you don't have them on Facebook. It could work with WhatsApp or Telegram or other messenger tools, or again, just simply sending them a text message via your phone. And what I recommend is this. It's when they say to you, I'm interested, immediately you'll go for an appointment. Okay, that's when you'll say, hey, why don't we get together for a Zoom tonight or tomorrow? And that's when you go for the appointment. Or if they're struggling with the technology for some reason, then set up a Zoom right away. But you see, you don't have to meet with someone. So that way you could be with the kids at a baseball tournament and still building your business using YFP. It's just so simple. Share your screen again if you're inside the classroom, Kristen. So we'll just show them what they're going to get. So someone at this point now has been, we've created some curiosity. We've teased them into what is it that the opportunity offers, so that they're at the point where they say, you know what, I want to learn more. I don't really know if it's for me or not, but I do want to learn more. And hop inside the classroom there when you're able to.
One moment, went to the wrong spot.
Oh.
Even I forget how to use my phone sometimes.
There you go.
Just gotta
Now,
find it.
you could also do this on desktop. I could have just copied a link and shared from my PC to her, and whatever device she's on is how she's going to access it.
It logged me back out. That's okay. We'll just hold it.
The other nice thing about this is that your prospect can log in time and time again to keep reviewing this content, and you don't have to be there. So that if they're just kind of skeptical and they don't really want you bugging them yet, they really just want to peek around the edges, they can do that. They can also join our Facebook group if they'd like, which is going to give them social proof, because we have 900 other people in there that are investigating the opportunity or are already in the business and can share their thoughts. And we produce live content in there once a month for when we do wealthy webinars and other events. Scroll down if you could, Chris, and let's just show them this is what they're going to learn inside the classrooms. One is they're going to be able to explore the opportunity. Let's just click enter. So you can just see how darn easy it is. She's got to hit a button, scroll down. They're going to learn why we chose Shackley as our supplier. How to meet our team, which is, of course, largely going to be Roger's story. The products, they're going to learn about the competitive advantage, as well as the business model. And then they're going to decide, you know what, I'm going to go to module 2. And at this point, they're going to learn, this is a really key one right there, is this is where they're going to learn how they can create income with this business without having to specialize in selling, because 95% of your prospects don't want to sell. So they're going to learn about educational marketing, how to get the word out, how to get their content seen, what are the objectives in the business, keep going down. The core thing they need to do in this business is the block of volume, and then the 4 educational marketing strategies. And you can see these are all short videos, just a couple minutes long, so we don't overdo it. Let's go to module 3. And then this is when now they can learn a little bit about supplementation and the products. So you can see this is a sequential system that in a staggered way allows them to escalate their understanding of the business. And they can either just watch a video or 2 and they say they're in, or they can watch a whole bunch if they're the type who really need a lot of information. Now, let's say they're like, you know what, I'm ready to start. Click on that. And again, at none of this point do they need you to be there with them live. Let's click join our team. This has the potential where they could go through this whole thing all on their own and get to the point where they can decide the 3 speeds to start at, either at a walk, which is the distributor pack and products of their choice, or at a jog, the distributor pack and the prove it challenge, or at a run, which is the distributor pack, the pick, and then they could select a business booster pack. And they could select any one of those. They'll go to your website and be able to do it. And then you might phone them up and have a live appointment with them. And the Smart Start has a few other parts to it, but we won't get into that tonight. I just wanted to share that and just to kind of let you guys see how simple it was to share your tour, and someone can on their own learn everything they need to know about how the system works, how to build a business without having to specialize in selling, and what the products are, what the benefits are. And you might not have had to do any verbal anything. It could be just purely through chat, and then you get them on live. Now, we realize some people will want you to guide them through it personally, and that's great. But if that's not going to be a fit for you for some reason, you can go ahead and let them do it on their own. Find whatever is the best way that they want to explore this. Don't force them to have to meet with you. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys there, because I met with a top leader out of another company, and he taught me we have to make this thing so crazy duplicatable that your team doesn't hardly have to do anything but just get in, send some links, talk to some people, and the thing's going to work. And that's what YFP is all about, is taking that heavy lifting off of your plate. Now, I mentioned to you that once you've got someone to subscribe, they register for one of your live events, or they go to your tour, right? They get inside your wellness center. That's going to get them in your email marketing system. And then our team of designers, writers, researchers, we create a monthly newsletter and a weekly wellness update. And all of that ties into your wellness resource center, which is a digital library of articles, newsletters, archives. For example, the wellness webinar we just did last night with Dr. Stephen Chaney is archived in your wellness resource center. We also create science-based videos that you can share to help you attract new clients and educate existing ones. Like, why do we age and get sick? And what do vitamins and minerals do? Why is supplementation is important? And that generic information allows you to educate people without them feeling like you're pitching them. And those are now, if they haven't already loaded them in the Wellness Center, they will be loaded in this week or maybe even today. But they're also, by the way, already in your wellness tour. So doing this, utilizing YFP allows you to leverage our team of experts like Dr. Scala, Dr. Bruce Daggy, Dr. Sunny Park, and Dr. McManus, Dr. Cheney, Dr. Browse, and many others. You can also incentivize education using a Learn and Earn program. This is something that was built by business leaders many years ago, and it allows your team to be able to earn an income, or not an income, sorry, but earn rewards by going in and studying your information in the Wellness Center. The challenge in the past is it was very difficult to administer. So we curate the content and our system tracks the progress. All you need to do is get people into the system and encourage them to move through it. And Kristen can share that one of the team members she worked with, they were hovering around 2,000 in volume. And after they were done moving all their team through the Learn and Earn, I think they put 50 people through the Learn and Earn. About half of them finished it, something like that. Am I right, Kristen?
Yep,
and they went
right.
to, and they're now around 6,000 in volume from that. So what's that? Like a couple 100% increase or something like that?
Yeah.
So pretty powerful. So obviously the more people you already have in your business, the more that can work. And all your assets tie into your personal branding hub site, which is basically your nerve center that allows people to get to meet you, build credibility, and to connect with all of your social or your web properties like your Shackley shop, things like that. So with the Freedom Builder plan, you can market your brand, capture wellness leads and business leads, follow up and nurture with emails that we write and create for you, educate customers, build a wellness community, and engage and educate customers with our live events that we put on for you with our team of scientists. You can find distributors with our 3-step sponsoring system. It's done for you out of the box. You could manage your contacts and make notes on them, train your team, and it'll also allow you to save money on our other products and services and get live support. This is the only system that has all of these tools in one place with a team that is, well, built around somebody who understands this business model as well as Shackley. So again, here's just a recap. The promo is save $200 in your first month on Zoom, where you're going to get unlimited storage. So you never need to worry about that. You could also save up to $150 off your first month on the Freedom Builder. And what I wanted to offer you tonight is this. Anyone who joins Freedom Builder tonight on any of our plans, some of them it's already included, but if you get our lowest plan, which is the Super Starter, we will give you access to Jennifer's course into Networkers University free for 1 month. So that's for anyone who gets on the Super Starter tonight. If you get on our other higher level plans, it's already included. And all you need to do is just reach out and let us know that you're interested, and one of our support team can reach out to you and we can make sure you get connected. So if you indicate tonight you want to get rocking and rolling and you do so, we will help you with that. And then you can also save $200 to access Jennifer's course in Networkers University. If you're already on Freedom Builder and you just simply want to upgrade and add that, you can do that as well and get started for just $97 through that. And it is highly worth it. Okay, the promo ends July the 12th. And for some of you that maybe this is all a bit of a whirlwind, one thing that I can recommend is just simply request a free guided tour. Won't cost you any money. And you'll have Coach Kristen or one of our team give you a free walkthrough of the funnel that I just explained to you. They're going to show you step 1, 2, and 3 and how that works. And so you can either subscribe to a plan, take a test drive, which is our 30-day trial, or contact us. And again, we'll book a tour with you and walk you through it, or join our group. You can also view all our products by going to yourfreedomproject.com/shop, or join a live event, one of our future events, which Kristen will just mention to you now. What do we got, Kristen? What do we got coming up? And then, of course, the Help Center.
You betcha.